Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troll.
(1973 to 1976). Welcome back, baseball fans, to another opening day, the 1973-76 Carryover League. And we got a fun one because it's expansion teams, so it's some wild baseball between the Florida Marlins and the Portland Rosebuds, two fictional teams joining the rest of MLB as we stretched our league, of course, to 32 teams, matching a, I guess what the NFL has with 32 teams spread across 8 divisions. I sort of mirror that idea in aligning the league. And so Florida Marlins, who didn't exist during this timeline, and I added a team in Portland, and they have really kind of clever, intriguing players on their teams. Some really good ones, actually. Often the players weren't protected in a prior year. Then these teams improved them as a player will improve. And so there's a mixed bag. Recent acquisitions aren't so good, and guys who were acquired years ago who've gotten better. For both Florida and Portland, teams both drafting in the top 10 a year ago. So it's going to be a fun game, folks, and it's going to be a pretty good pitching matchup. For the Florida Marlins, they have Ed Figueroa, a New York Yankee in 1976, would have been in the World Series and would be in a few more, as a matter of fact. 19-game winner with a 2.57 ERA. If nothing else, he represents a trade chip for Florida to trade with the New York Yankees. Speaking of trade chips, Portland made a deal in the offseason with Toronto to acquire Jerry Royce, who's had a suitcase and has moved all over the place. Jerry, I think he was with Houston and went to Pittsburgh, went to the Dodgers historically. In our scenario, he also played for Toronto, was just traded to Portland. I'm sure the Dodgers are going to come calling for him at a certain point. 75, 18-game winner, 2.54 ERA. So this is all-star quality pitchers in an expansion game. Let's just get right into this thing in Portland. Leading off for the Florida Marlins, Louis Aparicio, 67's a strikeout. Felix putting me on, 33 lines is third. And Manny Mota, 1/7's a base hit. Batting cleanup is Ellie Rodriguez, 2.5 is a K. Bottom of the first, Glenn Borgman, a catcher. If you're wondering, both these catchers, Ellie Rodriguez and Glenn Borgman, have the gift of on-base percentage. And in the case of Borgman, he's got a .416 on base, which is why he's leading off. 410 pops are short. And the other reason is this Portland team is slow as molasses. We got D's and E's, folks. There is no speed on Portland other than Chet Lemon on the bench. He'll be the only guy who was eligible to steal a base for Portland this year. Bernie Carbo batting second. 312 rolls to the pitcher. And Bob Montgomery, 49, second X. 2E10 to Mian, and he makes the play. Second inning, it's Hal McRae. 68, 5 out of right. You think the Yankees and the Royals, two teams who were in the playoffs latter 70s, would want to trade for their Hal McRae and Ed Figueroa with the Florida Marlins? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Batting sixth, Willie Montanez, 69, flies to center. And batting seventh, Chuck Goggins, 64, third X. Third is a 4E21, Danny Cater, better suited to play first, but he makes the play here. All right, bottom of the second, Ron Bloomberg, 4-6, single 1-4, can't get it. There is Danny Cater, 3-9, flies to left. And Tom McCraw, 34, grounds to first. Louis Melendez in the top of the third inning, 64, third X. Third baseman, again, Cater, 4E21. It's time it's an error. Mario Guerrero, 2-9, base hit center field, 2 on. For Louis Aparicio, 2-8 is a 5-4-3 double play. Runner goes to third with 2 outs for Felix Millan, who flies to center. Bottom of the third, it's Tommy A.G., 67, flies to left. Mike Cubbage, 1-4, grounds to second. And Art Howe, 49, second X. And Millan again makes the play. So Figueroa goes right through this Portland lineup, 9 up and down. We got a couple singles and a double play for Florida at the plate. Top of the fourth, and we have 314 hitting Manny Mota. 310. Fly ball to left field plus an injury. Interesting. He's got an injury on 10, suggesting he was probably started to be a pinch hitter, part-time outfielder at this point of his career. This will be the last year he's not a 4 in the outfield, if he can even play the outfield, but he's out of the game with an injury. With the injured player, Veda Pinson will take his place defensively in the bottom half of the inning. Ellie Rodriguez, 1/8 a walk. Hal McRae, 410, pops to third. And with 2 outs, Willie Montanez, 2-5. Double on a 7 is a 2-base hit. Second and third, 2 outs, Chuck Goggin. 46 off the Royce card is double 1 and 2. That's an RBI single. The Marlins are on the board. That's a 2-run single, pardon me. And the Marlins have a 2-0 lead. Louis Melendez, 2-6, pops short. Bottom of the fourth, Glenn Borgman, 1-4, flies left. Bernie Carbo, 110, flies to right. Robert Montgomery, 310. Let's take a look at a card. Bob Montgomery. If you played Strat in the 70s, you know that every once in a while, Boston's backup catcher, Bob Montgomery, almost like every other year, he had a whopping card, and then he hit 200 the year after. And that's sort of Montgomery's trajectory. He's got a 320 card here. I know he's got a 300 card in 1977, I think. 320. He had a 288 average, I believe, with a 71 or 72 card. Anyway, short sample size. That's the theme of the day for these expansion teams. They find guys who are good, not in a full season, but good enough to make the roster and be competitive. And 310 is going to be a single for Montgomery, and there goes your perfecto for Ed Figueroa. Ron Bloomberg, 2-7 is a grounder to first. 2-zip Marlins into the fifth. Mario Guerrero, 1-9, lines a third. Louis Aparicio, 58, flies left. And Felix putting me on, 2-3, rolls to second base. It's 2-0 game, bottom of the fifth. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, the Marlins and the Portland Rosebuds, City of Roses. That's why they got their name. It'll be number 5 hitter Danny Cater. 1-4, flies to center. Tommy McCraw, 2-8, lines the first. And Tommy A.G., 37, is a strikeout. Well, told you about these pitchers. We got the pitcher's duel. Into the sixth. It'll be Veda Pinson in for the injured Mota. 69, flies to center. Cleanup hitter Ellie Rodriguez. 2-8's a walk. Hal McRae. 2-8 is a 5. 4-3 double play. Jerry Royce battles back. Bottom of the sixth, Mike Cubbage. 6'10", center X. Louis Melendez, a 3-4 out there. Makes the catch. Art Howe, 42, rolls to the mound. And Glenn Borgman, 57, is a strikeout. Ed Figueroa, one hitter, into the seventh. It's Willie Montanez. 210, base hit. Chuck Goggin, 2-2, strikeout and an injury. He was in the outfield. And we need an outfielder to replace him. I guess we already lost Veda Pin. We already lost Moda in this game. We lost another outfielder. I guess Jose Morales has to go trotting out in the right field. Oh boy, Portland, just start hitting them into the outfield when your time comes. It'll be Louis Melendez, the last able-bodied outfielder in this team. I guess Hal McRae could play the outfield as well. Well, that's a debate, I suppose. Louis Melendez, 56, is a bouncer to short. Shortstop. Art Howe's a 40-48. Ooh, cover your eyes. Ground ball C. Runner at second, 2 outs. Mario Guerrero, 57, is a strikeout for Jerry Royce. We have briskly gotten here, folks. Almost a land speed record to get to the 7th inning. 2-0 affair for Ed Figueroa and company. Stretch time music here in Portland. We have been enjoying this Beauregard LP of 1973. Professional wrestler Beauregard from Portland recorded this little funky soul number featuring Greg Sage of the Wipers on guitar. Interesting little tidbit there. Beauregard. If you see in the photo, he kind of has that Gorman Thomas look about him with the, like the big mutton chops and kind of, sort of similar, at least from this angle, at least. Back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. Figueroa, one-hit shutout. He isn't going anywhere. It'll be Bernie Carbo. 68, flies to center. Bob Montgomery, 39, single 1-5. He gets it. And your tie run is Ron Bloomberg. 1-6. Let's take a look at the Ron Bloomberg card of 1973. And yes, this is it. This is the age-old trivia question. Who was the American League's first designated hitter? And it was Ron Bloomberg / Orlando Cepeda. And why is that? Because it was the Yankee-Red Sox game in Fenway Park, which meant that Bloomberg, in the top of the first inning, was able to bat before Orlando Cepeda would in the bottom half of the inning. So Bloomberg is known with that distinction. But in 73, 329 average and 12 home runs. 1-6 could tie it. Homer, 1-6, double the rest. We look up and it is a 2 and it's gone. And Portland ties the game off of a disappointed Ed Figueroa. 2-2. 1 out. Danny Cater. 48 is a walk. Now, Figueroa is a starter 8, as is Royce. They're going to continue. They're the aces of their squads. In the case of the visitors, Figueroa is the only guy who can pitch on 3 days rest, so they're going to lean on him as much as they possibly can. Jerry Royce, he has his teammates Nellie Briles and Clay Kirby also pitching on 3 days rest, so maybe not as necessary for the home team. Man at first, 1 out, Tom McCraw. 53 left X. Oh boy, we talked about the defense that got hit hard by injuries. Pinson's a 46 now in left field. It's a single ... and you're seeing injuries could influence the result of this game. Marlins get out to bring the infield up for Tommy Agee. 57 is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Mike Cubbage. 62, center. Oh, is that right field or center X? That is right X. Oh, you're kidding me. Right X, that's the other guy. This is now Jose Morales, a 4-16. And yeah, if you were done wrong, Ed Figueroa was done wrong. That is a double off of the 4th and 5th outfielders playing in this game. And Portland takes a 3-2 lead. That's pretty mean, beyond being unfair as well. As the starting outfielders probably make those catches. Moda's a 3, and I guess Coggin was also a 4. Maybe he doesn't make the play either. These teams are incomplete. In Florida, you got to go find yourself some outfield defense. If you really want to compete, you got to catch the damn ball. Because you had a 2-0 shutout at one point in this game, and it's kind of falling apart. Number 9 hitter, Art Howe. 46 off Figueroa is a walk. That loads the bases. They'll bat around for Glenn Borgman. 2-6, and let's take a look at the Glenn Borgman card. You'll see why he leads off. He hits 246. But in 1976 for your Twins, 65 at-bats, he had 19 walks. 3 doubles and a homer. So he's got power and homers against lefties, doubles against righties. 2 entire columns of walks. Perfect candidate for a leadoff hitter for a team that otherwise does not have any speed. So Borgman walks a lot, as does Bernie Carbo. And that helps this Portland squad. That's your dreaded bases loaded walk. And with that, when you bat around, we're going to call that point of weakness. We're just going to get Ed Figueroa out of here now. After 6 2/3, as this inning's just falling apart on him. Not his fault. 20 1/3. Yeah. 6 2/3. Bases are still low with 2 outs. Bernie Carbo. Let's get a lefty to get the lefty out. And let's turn to Tom Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer was a Red Sox. Actually, he was a Twin in 76. Eventually was a Red Sox. 8-1 with a 2.50 ERA. Very good bullpen for the Florida Marlins. Bergmeyer, Orlando Pena, Diego Segui. Bergmeyer comes on in the 7th to face Bernie Carbo with the bases loaded. Here's your ball game. They keep this a 2-run game, they have a chance. Here's your pitch to Bernie Carbo. 2-4 grounds to short. All right, Portland. Could they improve their defense for the remainder of this game? And the answer is, oh yeah, all over the place, as a matter of fact. They have wholesale changes, so slow the roll there, folks. We are going to start taking guys out. All right, we're going to take out a... Tom McGraw was playing first left field. He'll move to first base. First baseman Ron Bloomberg will exit, as will Bob Montgomery. Chet Lemon will take over in left. Third base will be manned now by Ted Martinez. And Dave Rossella will take over at short for Art Howe. So they've improved the defense all over the diamond. As Chet Lemon's a 2 in left. Ted Martinez is a 3 at third. Dave Rossella is a 3 at short. Danny Cater's the new DH. Tom McGraw is now a 2 at first from being a 3 in left field. So that's how you get a good bench. You got the versatility you need to move pieces around. You can put your pieces in an offensive position, playing out of position, and late in the games, the reserves come in with a lead, and you can defend your lead with some defense. So, clever Portland, at least for now. We go to the 8th. Jerry Royce, the starter 8. He will continue. It's Louis Aparicio. 53, left X, and this is Chet Lemon. Just mentioned his name. A 2-4 in left. He makes the catch. Would have been McGraw's a 3. Felix Mion, 5'11", walks. And your tie run is Veda Pinson for the injured Moda. 3-10 Pinson's a strikeout. And with 2 outs, it's Ellie Rodriguez. 63, second X. And this is still Cubbage as a 3 second baseman, 337. And he makes the play. Okay, bottom of the 8th. Bergmeyer will continue. It'll be Chet Lemon. 48 is a walk. And you got Ted Martinez, the third baseman. 5'10", another walk. Not what you want to do if you're Tom Bergmeyer. Now Cater, the new DH. 3-10 left. You're wondering about the DH. We use just simple free substitution here. We don't use the rule, the American League rule, where the pitcher comes in if you move your DH into a fielding position. Just makes the game a lot easier. We only have 20-man rosters, so we have to simplify this game and the rules a lot to satisfy that. So there's the first out of the inning. Now you have Tommy McCraw, 2-8. 2-8's a 3-6-3 double play, and the inning's over. So Bergmeyer battles back after the 2 walks. 4-2 in the 9th. Portland sort of has a bullpen by committee. Ray Sadecki, the lefty, gets lefties out. Dick Bosman, righty, who sort of gets righties out. Roger Nelson used to be a great starter. Now he's in the bullpen with Bill Butler. So no starter, reliever, closer type screams that they need to be in the game. So Jerry Royce will continue. In the 9th, he'll face Ellie Rodriguez. And Ellie. 69 pops the first. Hal McRae. 4-4 off of Royce. Homer 107 double, and it's gone. It's out of here. 4-4. Homer 107's a solo shot. We have a 1-run game. Getting interesting here in the 9th. Willie Montanez has a couple hits today. 67's a strikeout, and with 2 outs, it'll come down to Jose Morales. Let's take a look at him. Heck of a stick. Always had it. Had many 300 seasons. At least 3 that I can recall off the top of my head when Jose Morales hit over 300. As a catcher, first base, most likely DH. Did it for the Expos. I think he did it for the Dodgers. Did it for the Twins. Bounced around a lot, but always brought his bat with him wherever he went. And yeah, this particular card is a 301 average for the Expos. Power versus righties. Does have a homer chance versus lefties. So here's the pitch to Jose Morales. 210 is a base hit, and he is your tie run. And I'll come down to Luis Melendez now. Let's take a look at Luis Melendez. Was a St. Louis Cardinal in 1973. Hit 267. Most importantly, he can at least play center field reasonably well, something nobody else in this team can do. He's pretty symmetrical, lefties versus righties. As we like to say, he's all they got, folks. So here's the pitch to Luis Melendez. 5-11 off of Royce is a walk, and Jerry Royce has made this interesting and hit his point of weakness in the 9th inning. Now they got to close the game out. They have 2 on and 2 outs and a 1-run lead. Florida only has Roy Howell left on the bench. If you bring in a righty, most assuredly, they'd bring in Roy Howell to pinch hit. If you bring in a lefty, they'll let Mario Guerrero bat. Unfortunately, the lefty you would bring in to face Guerrero, in this case Ray Sadecki, isn't particularly good against righties. So using bullpen by committee, they're going to go Bill Butler. Let's take a look at Bill Butler. Butler was, I believe, with Kansas City. No, he also was a Twin in 74. 4-6 with a 4.09 ERA in 99 innings. His worst problem is control. Walks a lot of batters. Doesn't give up a lot of hits versus righties. Guerrero doesn't even have power. Worst case, a single ties the game. Can't win the game if you roll a homer chance. So Bill Butler will come into the 9th inning as Jerry Royce can't quite get to the complete game. Leaves with 2 outs and 2 on. So they will continue lefty on top of lefty. That usually means that we want the guy. We want Guerrero. We don't want we don't want him to leave the game. Let's take a look at him. Mario Guerrero, interesting that we thought he might have to step aside when they added Luis Aparicio to the roster. Oddly enough, against lefties, they both play. One's the DH. Against righties, Aparicio will be the shortstop, and they'll move Guerrero to the bench. But here's a chance for Mario Guerrero to have a highlight in the 9th inning. With 1st and 2nd and 2 outs, down by a run, here's your pitch to Mario Guerrero. 1-9, and that is a liner to 3rd, and that is your ball game. Your Florida Marlins, they blew it. They blew the game. They had a nice lead. The injuries, this is on the short list of where injuries ruined a team's chance to win. 2 of them enabled the defeat, as Ed Figueroa was sailing along in this prior to balls being hit to their corner outfielders. So if you're wondering about defense and injuries, folks, yes, it does impact the game. You also saw that Portland had wholesale defensive changes late in this game to seal it off. So Figueroa is the loser. Jerry Royce gets the victory. Bill Butler gets a save by getting the final out of the game. And that's the end of Game 1. Game 2 in Portland, it'll be Pete Falcone, a rookie added to Florida, versus the veteran Nelson Briles, who pitched for Pittsburgh in this timeline. Then when the season does go down to Florida, Portland will have recent acquisition Clay Kirby of the Cincinnati Reds versus Vern Rule, who was an Astro. And if there's a game 4, former Twin Ray Corbin for Portland versus Rich Trodson for Florida. Trodson, one of those one-year wonders. We often see those on expansion teams. He actually pitched for the Padres. And that's how the rest of the series will match up. Stay tuned. It should be fun and exciting. We got a one-run game with a lead changing hands late. This is a fun little series. So stay tuned. All right, folks. Wild series here. Wild things happen when you have wild defenses. I'll tell you that. So, yeah, Portland did win that game 1 4-3 with the big 7th inning, led by the bad defense for Falcone, for Figueroa, I should say. So let's see what happened in game 2. Game 2, it is Pete Falcone for visiting Florida versus Nelson Briles. And in this one, the Marlins show that they do have a nice little bit of offense here. RBI single scoring Montanez. 3-run homer Veda Pinson. RBI ground out Montanez. Marlins get some runs, but Florida pulls away late. RBI single Roy Hal, sac fly Montanez. It's a 7-4 final. Falcone went 5 1/3 innings to start. Nelly Briles went 7 innings, but he gave up 11 hits and 6 runs, 5 earned. Give the road team credit. Even though they blew game 1, they did get a road win in game 2 to get a split. They control home field. Let's see if it works. Game 3 in Florida. I just get a sense Florida's better than Portland, is what I'm sensing here. Game 4, it's Vern Rule versus Clay Kirby. Big second inning for the Marlins. We had a 2-base error by Tommy A.G. in the middle of this thing, surrounded by a walk and 4 singles. That's 4 runs. Bloomberg had a 2-run homer in this game. This is 7-3 in the 9th. Seemed like an easy win for Florida, but no, not with these teams. Not with the defense. Spotty relief pitching. You see this game actually was, 4-2, 4-3, 7-4, and finished 7-6. Bad defense, spotty relief pitching. Florida hangs on by the skin of their teeth. They're up 2-1. Feel-good story. Could the Marlins finish this off at home in Florida in game 4? And no, they can't. Again, just chaotic defense and so forth. Visiting Portland, you get a 2-run homer by McGraw. RBI single Montgomery. RBI triple Carbo. The only thing Florida could do is bat around in the 7th inning and score 4 times to tie this game. It went to the bottom. Once the 10th inning, Orlando Pena's pitching is up a single, and a single to score a run. Another single, left the bases stranded. Only got a single run. So it's up to Ray Sadecki to protect the precarious Portland lead, and almost like it's not going to happen, but he actually did. He did protect the Portland lead with a 3-up and 3-down 10th inning. I was expecting that lead to be blown as well. So Portland evens the series 5-4, and regardless of what you think of this kind of baseball, you have the perfect scenario through 4. Each team has won and lost in the opponent's stadium. Fair competition, but shaky relief and defense is not something you like in Strat if you really want to be a serious contender. Game 5, back to Figueroa and Royce. And this one, got to give a lot of credit to Florida because they battered around Jerry Royce. Jerry Royce was a prize. He is the ace. We know he is good. Florida could care less. They had RBI single in the 2nd. They had 4 singles and 3 runs in the 3rd. They had 3 more runs in the 4th with an RBI double by Mian and a sac fly. You see this Florida team just has bats that pick away with you throughout the lineup. This turns into a 10-1 game, but of course, you know, a no lead is safe, and when you have weak defense, and 10-1 turned into 10-3. Finished at 11-5. The Marlins win 3 of the 5 games as the road dog. Let's kind of take a deeper dive into the stats. It's always, you know, these are expansion teams. Let's kind of learn something about this kind of baseball. The Marlins, 3-2. They are hitting .314 as a club. However, they got a .480 earned run average, so the defense is killing them. Outfield defense is horrible. They have to play Louis Melendez in center field, even though they don't really want his bat. They'll have potent bats on the bench, not being used because of that. The best right fielder they have is Veda Pinson, who's a 4.6 and has to play versus left-handed pitching, which he isn't very good at. It's just not a well-constructed situation, as expected. Yeah. Bergmeyer, Pena, and Segui were okay for the Marlins. Portland and losing 3 out of 5. What can they hang their hat on? They're hitting .263 with a .460 earned run average. Well, you can't hang your hat on Jerry Royce. In 13 2/3 innings, he's given up 20 hits, 13 runs, 9 earned. So he's having a really lousy start, and they give up a lot to get him to be their ace, and it's not working out. Nelly Briles and Clay Kirby can also pitch on 3 days rest. They didn't pitch very well either. The only guy who pitched fairly well was number 4 starter Ray Corbin. The back end of the bullpen, Dick Bosman and Sadecki have not been scored on, but the other guys, Roger Nelson and Bill Butler, have been knocked around. Big start for Bob Montgomery. That monster card you saw, he's 10 for 21. So, yeah, that's the big bat. You're wondering about Ron Bloomberg, probably. He's 4 for 12, hitting .333, I guess. Yeah, that's right on course. How about Glenn Borgman and all those walks? He's got 9 of them. He's 3 for 15. That's a 200 average. Add 9 walks to that. That's a 500 on base. 12 out of 24 times he's reached base. So that's the story you get when 2 expansion teams meet. It's interesting, weird kind of baseball, different than predicted baseball. Florida's path to the playoffs, even though they won that series, is dreadful because they're in a division with the Mets, the Braves, and the Phillies. Portland's path to the playoffs, if I can look over here for a moment, you see, you got these 4 teams in a division, so anything can happen. It's like pulling names out of a hat. One of these teams is going to win this division. Florida's 3-2, but the Phillies are 3-0. Actually, the whole division won. The East, well, they predictably beat up on the expansion division. Portland's in first place. They're 2-3. 1-3, 1-3, 0-3. And that means the Marlins are in last place, 3-2. Yep. 3-0, 3-1, 3-1, 3-2. It's a shame. Florida has the most difficult path to success because of realignment in this scenario. And that's just the unfortunate circumstances we have. There's no way to make a correction for that. The Cardinals' path is obviously difficult. Over here, we got this another expansion team. Their path is difficult. Toronto, they'd have a difficult path to the postseason, but they actually are put together very well. And frankly, the Red Sox, Orioles, and Yankees, they've been a little underwhelming. Milwaukee's probably the team under the most pressure here, though the Twins have underachieved to fall beneath them a lot of the seasons. And it doesn't really seem that Oakland has a formidable challenge out west here. You know, out of these 3 teams. What we do know about the other West is that the Padres are not a walkover. They just ripped off 3 straight wins. They're not awful, which means that these matchups head-to-head are really going to be scrappy affairs. And the Dodgers certainly are not the class of this division. Break up your Florida Marlins. They didn't win the series. 3 games to 2. We'll see you next time.